we're being quickened. And the reason why we're being quickened is because I had a dream 2 nights ago, and it was quite not nice. But when I woke up from the dream, it happens to me a lot, I bring the energies of the dream, not just the visual and the memories, the energy. So the energy stays with me in suspension all day. And will ask my bodies to process it. And at that moment, it's like having currents up and down. And when I have these currents, I can't concentrate on anything because it's like I'm being broken into many places. You know, like if you put a very high vibration and shatters a glass. Well, I feel that these energies are like dislodging, that's the word, something. And what is dislodging is lower energy or lower vibrations. Lower vibrations that are equivalent to patterns and thoughts that are old and do not allow me to continue on my progression higher or forward. My dream was a metaphorical meaning to dislodge something that was of a low vibration and not nice in my life. And as I worked through the feelings and the synonyms, I came to the conclusion that it was lack of self-validation. I think we all have it at some point and at some level. And it can be translated as lack of self-worth, lack of self-regard, lack of self-love, lack of self-validation, lack of value. And it's not even to do with anything and anybody, it's us with us. So something in our psyche when we were little or from a previous life stays with us, holding us back, allowing us to work until the edge of the pushing. And when pushing no longer works, then we need to start accepting. And when we start accepting, then we're able to resolve. And then that energy comes into our conscious mind. And in that conscious mind, we can start working through it and shifting it. I used to work through Raven a lot. So Raven is your shadow self. I used to go like fishing into the shadow, into the hidden, into the quiet, into the black stuff, into the things you don't want to look at, one chunk at a time, and bring it out and work with it, write it down in my diary, talk about it to myself, feel it, write it, read it, and mold it, until suddenly, bang, the coin turns around and your dark side bunch or little chunk that you fished out from the void became light, a clear idea. With that comes the processing of the forgiveness, the anger, the realization, all the emotions that come with it. And I used to do that again and again and again for 23 years. And now I do it, but it's not so often because I just clear so much of the base that it just happens like this week, once every 6 months or 4 months, something, but it's really, really intense. So that's what I describe it. It's like a language. And at the beginning, when you're learning the language, everything that you learn is a big step. And at the end, when you're perfect in the language, it takes a long time to create a little shift. So that's why I call it the spiritual language and so on. So even though the dream was not nice, I came to the conclusion that there is a point of lack of self-validation. So I'm working on that this week. But the quickening and the fast energy is dislodging the lower energy so that you can accrue in your DNA higher vibration, because your DNA is, you can mold it, you can work with it. And DNA is the basics of all the languages, all the human languages. So language is a mirror of DNA. So anything that we do in life is a mirror of the DNA. So every subject, mathematics, geology, physics, chemistry, is a vision or a perspective or a language of the natural world or the world at large and the cosmos with a pattern, set of patterns in your mind. And this is why I think Spirit said to me 3 months ago, we no longer want you to look at your metaphysics through your languages, We want you to look at your languages through your metaphysics. I think they want me to turn it around and start finding in the logicalness of languages the meaning of energy, spirit, and so on. At this stage is very innovative in my mind because it's very new for me, and I haven't seen anything online apart from maybe wave linguistics. I get lost. The book I wanted to read is in German. They haven't translated it. So I'm there a little bit, but I'm holding it. And this week threw me into that direction. So something I was doing that was holding me from my highest dream, which was research and investigate the connection of languages and DNA and energy, meant that I had to dislodge a lack of self-belief that maybe I could do it, or I should do it, or I need to do it, or is it going to be me who's going to do it? Do you understand the wrapping up? And that's happened like in 3-4 days. By running away, I said to Spirit, don't give me any dreams like this anymore. I've had a few. Thank you very much. I've learned my lesson. I'm going to go to the bottom of the pit and clean it. And clean it wherever, because I can't live with dreams like that. They stay in my mind for years. Because I'm so visual. Thank the Lord, I'm not clairvoyant. I'm clairaudient, claircognizant, and clairsentient. But I can't be clairvoyant because I could not live. I have to go to a lunatic asylum because those images are playing in me all day yesterday. Whew. That is when you are an energy translator. It's not an easy job. Sometimes I come to the conclusions, to the clean little wrapping podcast, a little articles, nice, informative and inspiring, and everybody's, oh, it's so nice. But when I have to clean up all this myself through spirit, so that, like you said, I do the work so that then others benefit from the results. I do all the molding, all the cooking, all the putting it together so that decode it and readjust it and scribe it again, put it together so that people can be fed little spoonfuls so that they can digest it and understand it. Lovely. I love that part. But this other part that is happening in the last few days, I don't wish it to my worst enemy. And I'm sure there are many people like me. It's not pleasant. No matter how many years I've done it, and I can do it. In fact, I do it. But when it hits me, the whole consciousness of the universal mind, all the darkness and the dirt and the low energies and the hatred and all those things come together, and I have to transmute it. Ooh, it was very hard. Luckily today I woke up brand new, but so this is the experience. I don't know if you can relate to it at maybe another level, at a more manageable level, not so psychotic up there, big time level.
Mm-hmm. I think like right now I'm not being called to work with the collective energy yet. I don't know will that ever happen. So the clearing I have been going through are all personal. So they're less intense, more manageable, because as our dialogue has evolved through the weeks, we kind of know what's happening. Like I kind of foresee this coming, and now I don't have a job. I have all the time in the world. I basically just do whatever I want. So it's the emotions that are being cleared are intense, but they're all like personal things.
Yes.
I have the time and space to process them. I'm not in a rush of anything. So although it's unpleasant, but it's still it's nice. Like it's nice that I have this window of having nothing to do to process this intense energy. And I'm glad that I know I'm processing this energy because just by knowing that these emotions are not, I'm not under attack. It's just the process of purging.
Yes, that's
And
right.
the
That's right.
process of purging requires me to fully feel and experience the
Yes,
pain, the
that's
sadness,
right. That's,
all the desperation in order
that's
to
right.
let go.
Yes,
So it's intense,
yes,
but I would say the experience of purging for me this time is quite nice.
yes, because you've purged the darker part and you're like in the middle bracket. So you got tools that you've learned from the last few years, and it's not something that if it rocks your boat 100%, it rocks you whatever, 60%, 40%, sometimes more, sometimes less. But you know you will go through, and you know you will survive, and you know you can do it because you've done it before. Much, much, much worse. Exactly the same as me. But when it hits me, because it hits me unexpectedly, and I could sense it coming, I went, I don't know what is going on, because there are other planetary alignments that I don't understand, or I haven't researched this time. It doesn't really make any difference because I sense it, and that's wolf totem. Wolf howls to the moon and is connected to the feminine side and to the feminine energies. And I integrated my 80 totems over a period of like 20 years. So as soon as there is a totem that comes to the forefront, I can sense it. And there's nothing I can do about it because I voluntarily wanted to do it. And I continue to do it. But it's like every job. It's got the good bits and the bad bits. But for me, it's wonderful to understand consciously what's happening, because then I can actually allow the processing. So I don't resist it like I used to do, making it worse. So this is like your parallel nervous system, your etheric nervous system becomes stronger. Your physical nervous system becomes stronger. Your mind, your psychic becomes stronger. You are able to give some of your time and energy to the earth. Do you know that every 24th of December, I hear my name, Anna, with a very clear female voice, and I know it's the earth. And it's like, I watched the film Moana. And that night I hear the earth, which is all about healing the earth. And then year before it was some other film, something that captivates me. And I know, because I did say to the earth, I will listen to you through your children, which is your animal totems, and I will listen to you through your energies. But unlike other people who may not be listening, I promise you that I will be listening and I will be working with you. And when you make a promise or you make a pact or you make an agreement, it becomes your destiny. So I could have much worse destinies. I like it, but as I say, there's so much going on the earth, on the planet. I'm sure I'm not the only one, because it would be impossible. I would fuse. It would be interesting to know which other people have gone through a similar experience as me these last couple of days, this week, just for the sheer connecting, for the sheer fantastic, stronger, energetic web to maybe make the processing more powerful and less painful individually. Maybe we are connected etherically and we don't know it. Maybe the time will come when we will physically find each other. But at the moment, I'm like an isolated island doing this. And I have been for a very long time. So maybe the same way as I was describing to you, that in like one morning, I worked out 5 polyglot exchange sessions weekly with 5 different people. They came out of the blue at more physical level. Maybe this will also happen. And so maybe that's what I was opening up for. I know I was opening up for something. I just don't know yet what it is, but I will know in the next few days or week, because I always do. So this is the general idea. I don't know if, I think you understand, because you've been working with me for a while. I hope people can understand, people who hear this video can understand what I'm trying to say. It's not easy to put it into words, but that's why I have Badger, and Badger is the storyteller, and I always get metaphors and visuals in my mind when I'm talking. So I pass on the visual. If people don't get the words, they get the feeling and the emotion and the story behind it. Do you think this would wrap up what's happening?
Yeah, I think your experience, it's not so easy to relate.
Yeah.
I understand what you are saying,
Yes.
but I don't think a lot of people
Yeah.
experience it at the magnitude that you
Yeah.
are. So I
Yeah.
can understand why most people would find what you said hard to digest.
Yeah.
But I also think um, the way you lay it out is very helpful for people, even if they can't grasp
Yeah.
your message with their mind,
Yeah.
with their like logically, like, oh my
Yes.
God, what is this person saying?
Yes.
I think you putting this story out there has
Yeah.
its value of comforting people, to let them know,
Yes.
although like there are a lot of turmoil
Yes.
collectively or personally, it's just a process of,
Yeah.
it's like a storm that
That's right.
cleans everything.
Which it comes with electricity. So now I am a spirit translator, and now you're translating the translator of the spirit, because you are so good at translating what I translate. Honestly, I'm going to have to take you around as my translator, my personal translator. I look at people's faces and they go, "What?" And I go, "Jenny, please clear this out," and then go and translate. Because you
Yeah,
just have to
maybe this
step
is,
it down. You have to step it down until people get it.
yeah,
How fun is that?
yeah, I think it's because I've gone through the process of not understanding what you said at
Yeah.
all. Like at the beginning, I have no idea what you said, what you were
Yes,
saying.
yes,
I
yes,
just keep coming back
yes,
because
yes,
I think I know there is something,
yes,
but it doesn't make sense to my mind at all. But now I kind of understand at which point, like, it
yeah,
actually makes sense, but it just takes some guts to believe that,
yes,
see the thread in the
yes,
story
that's
that
right.
you lay out.
You gave yourself enough time to allow the manifestation of what you thought you knew. So you basically do what I said last week: we need to work on faith, which is what I did my first 10 years by myself, because at those times, 1998, I couldn't talk to anybody about this. Maybe now people are more ready to listen. And
Mm-hmm.
those first 10 years, I was crying buckets and suffering and going all the workshops and doing training and Reiki master and life coaching, etc. And I was going, I don't know what I'm doing this, but I know I have to do it. I don't know what this means, but I know this is the right path and I have to follow. I don't know if I'll ever understand what is happening or if I'm going to achieve anything worthwhile for me, but I know I need to go this way, follow it, stick with it, and allow it to unravel. So you gave yourself that opportunity over the last 5 years or so. And by seeing that, you've seen the bigger cycles and now just the smaller cycles. Because we first start with a big cycle and then we start with the smaller cycles. And by seeing proof of other things, you're now giving yourself the chance to achieving proof of more, which is exactly what I've done. I never had an idea that I was going to be today at this point where I'm telling you that I'm saying. This is just happened now. That's why I like these live discussion sessions like this, because the energies form themselves before my eyes as we're speaking, as if I was translating as we go. And if it's current for me and it's current for you, it's current for others. But the only thing we need to find is the language to be able to transfer this information or this feeling, more like a feeling, because the feeling is the language of the spirit, for people to at least get some solace, hope,
Yes.
inspiration, trust, give themselves a chance. They're not going crazy. The feelings and aches and pains and nervous system is all real, but it doesn't have to stay. It could pass them by. The body is 97% empty. So within that 3% of the solidity, we can mold it. If we can shift our mind, we can shift the body, we can shift our lives. There is a logic to this madness. And luckily I've got all my workbooks and all my books. So if people want to take it from scratch, they can start with the hidden gifts and attracting your opportunities, which is what we are going to do. And maybe when we do the little workshops, it will make more sense. But in the big background, in the big scheme of things, this is what's happening. And yes, you need to start there to get here. Not everybody needs to get here or wants to get here. I am a teacher, and I am in the process of mastering these energies. That's what I wanted. Will I finish mastering them? I don't know, but I keep going in that direction. At some point, there are people who find you and hide under your wing, get protected under your wing and say, lead me there. I want to go there. I don't know how to do it. And that is the place maybe where I'm putting this big tree with the big branches so that people can come underneath, and if there is a storm or rain or wind, they can be protected.
Mm.
And that is the idea.
Yeah.
If it will work out that way, I'm not sure. So thank you very much. It was fantastic that you helped me to help others, because if you understand, then I know that others can understand. Because I hear myself talk and I think I make sense in my head because I've already done it. But does it make sense in other people's heads? And you explain it and I know you understood. So I think other people will follow you, that will follow me, that will follow someone else. It's like a chain.
Yeah.
I think that is the way it's going to be.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we chat on Wednesday. Have a nice week.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.